I had those microphones, fellas, and I had to send them back.
What's wrong with them?
There was nothing wrong with them. I was fucking broke.
Oh.
I was fucking broke. Welcome to the
Hey,
According
now
Sources
listen to
podcast.
this.
Oh, hold on. Go ahead, Devin. Go ahead. We're on live,
No,
but
I
go
don't
ahead.
want this shit to be live.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna ask y'all later after the show.
Okay.
My
After the
bad.
show. Welcome to the According Sources podcast. I am your host, Andrea Williams. It's been a while, and I know you haven't heard that in a while because for the last 2 months we've been doing podcasts pretty normally. But I had a couple things go on in my life. I lost a close family member back in August. And then I live in Georgia, so Hurricane Irma decided to sit her fat ass right in the middle of like all of my shit, and I was without power for a week. So once I actually got power back, just trying to get back into the regular groove of things before I actually started the podcast. I did a ball podcast, ball sports podcast last week. I don't think it's out. Be on the lookout for that when it drops. And I got my
Ball
juices flowing.
control.
Yeah, ball. I got my juices flowing, and here we are. So we're gonna jump right into it. Since the last time we did a podcast, Devin and Chris, a lot of things have happened in the NBA. We'll get into the first one. CP3 is on Houston. How do you guys like that move?
He ain't Steph. It looks nice. Them niggas ain't beating the Warriors.
Now is that like
That's all.
okay? Every time something happens in the NBA, are we going to say that they're not beating the Warriors? I mean, nobody's beating the Warriors, but okay,
That's
take
true.
it, remove it away from the actual not being able to beat the Warriors thing. As a move, how do you think it's going to affect the team? Are they going to be better? Is this a a step forward? Is it a lateral move? What is it?
Did Chris Paul sign an extension with them like after he got traded, or is it just like just 1 year and then that's it?
I think he did
He's still on his
one
same Clippers
year. Yeah,
contract.
he's on a Clippers contract. He opted into the final year of his contract. So I think he's trying to see what happens with this season before he actually does anything. Trying to see if those banana boat boys are gonna get together at some point. So I think they're all
I don't.
trying out this
I
one
don't
year
believe
to
it's
see.
gonna happen.
That's kind of the same thing that Russ did in OKC until they traded for Melo. And he's like, you know what, I'll sign that contract.
Yeah, yeah. I would have signed that contract too. 205 million. It's a
205
lot.
guaranteed.
It's a lot of money to be playing
Yeah.
basketball. I'm not mad at him. I would have signed that contract too. I think as far as Houston and CP3 goes, I'm interested to see how it works out, right? Because you have two guys on a team that are it's different when it's two ball dominant guys, but they occupy different spaces on the floor. Like Shaq and
Hmm.
Kobe. Kobe is a perimeter player. Shaq is in the middle. Magic and Kareem. Magic is a perimeter player. Kareem is in the middle. But now you have two perimeter players that dominate the ball. I'm interested to see how Mike D'Antoni is going to blend that because it's going to take one of them two, is going to have to do a lot of giving in that relationship. I don't know which one of them is going to be able to do it. I'm going to assume that it'll be CP3, but he's a bit of an asshole. So I don't know if he's going to be willing to, just be like, okay, I understand this is James Harden's team. Here, I'm going to, give up some of the responsibilities that I've always had in my career and, let you have that. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's difficult to tell, man, because I have to try to look at that without. I have to try to look at it with my general manager eyes and not my general manager on 2K eyes, because on paper it looks good. Like it can blend well, the ball will move around a lot.
Will it though?
Um, and then that's when my realistic general manager eyes come into play, and I say, will the ball move a lot? Because James is a not so much a ball hog, but in order for that offense to work, he does have to demand the ball a lot and create a lot on like isolation on the perimeter. Rather than Chris, he's better at, he can't play isolation on the perimeter, but he can do pick and pop, pick and roll. But it's still I've never seen Chris play with with another like dominant shooter like James. It's hard for me to see them doing well. I don't know. Realistically, I don't see them getting past the second round of the playoffs
I mean,
in the Western
you got
Conference.
CP3. Of course, they're not getting past the second round. Chris.
Oh yeah, well there you
I
go.
mean, it looks nice. Don't get me wrong. CP at the 1. I mean, they finally got an actual point guard. James Harden is not a point guard. He played point guard for 1 season. They got what they got in small forward.
I don't know.
Can't really think of it, but
I cannot remember.
but I mean, me either. I almost said Melo, but I mean, it got some nice pieces. Don't get me wrong, but do we really think that they can beat the Spurs of the world? And
I think that's your bias jumping out there. You threw the Spurs out there before you threw anybody out there, man. I know what you out here doing, Chris. You know you're a Spurs fan, man. You're not slick at all.
you know you gotta rep that silver and black, man.
You know, I don't know, right? Like I said, it's a lot of ball domination going on between those two players, right? But here's my thing: like Houston last year ran like they pushed the ball a lot, and the biggest problem that Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan had with Chris Paul is that he does not push the ball. He's not I'm getting the ball up the court and fast breaking and we're getting wide open threes or we're getting dunks. Chris Paul likes to walk the ball up the court, run his pick and roll, and try to break down a defense. He is not really big on running up the court because he's like, what is Chris Paul, 32 now? He's 32 years old, 33 or something like that. However old he is, he's been in the league for a decent amount of time now. He's not about to run up and down the court anymore. So that was a big part of what made Houston's offense run. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, and like as you mentioned that means Harden's going to change his game to suit Chris Paul. I mean, like you say, he's 32, 33. If he's running up the court every game. So if that to change Harden's game to fit CP3s, how much is that going to affect like Harden's productivity?
It could be a positive thing where, he takes less shots, scores the same amount of points, efficiency goes up. He has more energy towards the end of the year and into the playoffs because last year it looked like in the playoffs he really, really lost steam because he had to carry such a heavy load, basically setting up their offense, being the focal point of the offense, and also creating for everyone else on the team. So maybe when you bring in Chris Paul, maybe it gets the ball out of his hands a little bit more, and it could be a positive thing. But man, I like this is one of the reasons why. Like I didn't have League Pass last year. I was just watching games on my Fire Stick. I'm gonna buy League Pass this year. I had it a couple years before, but I'm gonna buy it this year. There are teams that I'm really really interested in seeing, and Houston is one of them. Another team that I'm really really looking forward to watching play.
Say it.
Is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's gonna be nice.
I really want to see them play basketball. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe. What do you have against them, Devin? You don't want to watch them play?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't thinking about OKC. I was thinking about Minnesota.
Oh God,
boy Tibbs.
I watched it like in 2011, so I'm not really,
I don't know what it is about Thibodeau, man. I know he killed people. I know he injures and just destroys people's careers. I like dude. That is something about him, not just like.
Did you hear what Taj Gibson said? He was like, he didn't even have a chance to they had landed from the game the other night. He was like, he didn't even have time to unpack. Thibodeau had them ready for practice. Like, we're going to practice.
Wow.
We just got off the plane from a game. We're going to practice. Get your shit together. We're about
that motherfucker's evil.
About to grind your knees in the pixie dust. That's what we're about to do. Yeah, but that's another team.
They better never let Thibodeau become a college coach. Oh, he gonna break so many.
Oh man,
there's not a chance in hell that
2 hours of practice a day. What?
They already don't pay these guys, so you're making them pay for free to ruin their future careers because they're playing for Tom Thibodeau. Never going.
Please.
I am interested in seeing the Timberwolves. They're one of the teams too. But I mean, how can you not be interested in seeing PG-13, hoodie mellow, and why not? Like those are the people that I am really. I want to see how that's going to work because even more than Houston trying to figure out how that's going to work. Like I think there's going to be some bumps in the road for that team, but I think at some point they're going to figure out what they're trying to do and get it together. I don't know how the hell OKC is going to do this. I have no clue.
Quick question. When are we going to give Sam Presti an executive like the decade? Because this man he has like bribed 2 NBA teams this offseason of everything. I don't understand.
God, don't bring up the Bulls. You about to bring up the Bulls? You about to bring up the Bulls? Please.
No, I was bringing Sam Presti. When I got PG, he got Melo. Didn't really give up much.
But the only reason why he was able to get Melo is because he was able to swindle the Bulls for Doug and giving up for Cameron Payne.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn Bulls.
Wow, I didn't think about it that way.
At the end of the day, the Bulls turned like 6 draft picks. There's like 6 draft picks, man. Into Cameron Payne at the end of the day. But I mean, Sam Presti has done an excellent job. People are talking about whether or not, how good of a job he's been doing. Because I mean, he had KD, he had James Harden, so he had 2, MVPs, and a guy who's finished second in MVP. Oh my God, I'm tired. MVP voting, like the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is going to go on here? You lose 2 of those guys. You lose one of them because you traded them, but nothing essentially. I mean, but who did they get back for him? I mean, what was it? Kevin Martin and some other garbage that.
Some other garbage.
Yeah, some other trash. I don't think most of the people that was on that trade or any of the people that were on that trade for the James Harden trade. I don't believe any of those guys are still on.
I thought Kevin Martin was dead.
Well,
no.
I don't know if he's retired, but he's definitely not in the NBA anymore. And then
he was cold with the Kings. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh no, he was good.
But then you lose Kevin Durant because he doesn't like your coach and he doesn't like your team. Even though KD, he wasn't trying to put that out there. That was pseudo KD.
That was trash, man. Man. I was just reading it. I was like, no, KD, please, no. You didn't say that, dude. Like that couldn't have been you. That wasn't your Twitter. Somebody just copied and pasted that blue check mark and put it on their own page. Like that couldn't have been you, dude.
KD argues for himself under a completely different username. Who knows how long he's been doing it? But you know what? I was thinking about it.
Honestly,
I bet you a whole bunch of these NBA players.
Oh no, I know they do it big time. I think it's especially you know who I really think does it is Russell Westbrook. Because he never wants to say anything. Oh yeah, man. I think Russ do that all the damn time. I would also like to throw a wild card in there, thinking that D Rose might do it too.
It'd be way too many like spelling.
He's never on social media in general.
Like a shit ton of spelling errors, grammatical errors.
You got people writing tweets for him.
Like Derek he has a Twitter. He just never uses it. Like it's very rare. I think pre-ACL, Derek will be on social media a lot more. But once he tore that ACL, didn't come back, and people started shitting all over him.
He was in commercials and stuff, doing a lot of TV appearances before his ACL, too.
Yep. And now you don't give a shit about none of that. Like, fuck everybody.
Them old-ass men that play for the Cavs. Oh, never mind. Don't.
Yeah, we got to talk about them.
I'm saying this now. I'm going to say this now, man. If D Rose gets injured in Cleveland, bro, I don't know how I'm still defend like in general because Twitter is gonna be on that man's case. That's gonna be horrible.
They're gonna be on him no matter what. But
yeah, he could be healthy and they'll still talk shit about him.
It's like, man, there's no need to defend him. It's like, what is there to defend? He's got hurt. It happens. The
Mhm.
more you get hurt, the more probability it is for you to get hurt again. It's
However,
weird that people feel like that's the reason why you attack him. It's odd
hmm
Yeah.
that he's getting hurt. Shit happens. It's not his fault. Like he's out there like, please let me get hurt. Let me tear
I
my
think he's
ACL
doing a
again.
much better job at it than like Brandon Roy, Greg Oden. Um, maybe not as long, not having as much as longevity as Penny, because I didn't realize it, but Penny was around for a while after he
Yeah.
messed up his legs. He played for Phoenix. He played for New
Yeah,
York.
he didn't play
Played for
well.
he didn't play well, yeah,
He
but
played well in Phoenix. He did not play well in New York.
Derek actually he wasn't that bad when he was healthy last year. He wasn't that bad. He was actually solid,
Yeah, what was he? 18.
but
What did he average? 18 and 5 last year. I mean,
yeah, he was solid.
he wasn't the greatest percentages, but I think he shot around 44% from the field, which is
That's good enough for the Knicks.
yeah, that's good enough. But I mean, that's probably not good enough to be a starting point guard in the league. I would love to see him coming off the bench and just eating up second units because I still think that he has the ability to score.
Oh, I'm praying that Derek just plays so good. Nigga plays so good that Isaiah Thomas got to come off the bench.
Man, that's just
Oh,
not
I
gonna
just want the
happen.
world for
I
Derek.
am
Oh,
worried
I
about
just
Isaiah Thomas though with that hip. Like that is a serious, serious thing, man. It's basically bone on bone.
he needs to do the
Um,
A Rod and Kobe method. Go to
uh,
Germany,
get the PRP.
recirculate that blood, and then put it in him again, and get right back to it.
Yeah. Get that Peyton Manning treatment.
I don't know if that's going to work because the surgery was supposed to be putting something between. Because right now it's just like his hip, they're just grinding, like the bone is grinding against the bone. I mean, basically what happened to Brandon Roy with his knees. He
Oh
had no
yeah.
cartilage in between the knees, and there was nothing stopping the knees from grinding against each other. And I mean, that shit's
That sounds
painful.
so painful.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what's slowly but surely happening to D Wade,
D Wade had already had
Yeah.
that because
because he
when he
had it
tore his
shaved down,
meniscus,
right?
yeah, no, no, he had it removed. He had it
Jesus.
removed, like Derek did the second time, to get back quicker. But I guess D Wade has just been able to manage the pain a little bit more than most people would. We'll see what happens, man. With OKC is where the initial what we were talking about. It's interesting because, like you said, those are three guys that are used to being the man, and it's weird because they're gonna have some interesting lineups, right? Where PG is a small forward, Melo is the power forward. That's gonna be weird to see and interesting to see how they manage that because on the boards they're probably gonna get destroyed. But then again, they're gonna be
Yeah.
running up and down the court and shooting a bunch of threes, and it's gonna be a fast-paced game. We're gonna see if Russell Westbrook can remember how to play with two other guys that can do other stuff because that
hmm
team last year was not capable of doing anything else besides give the ball to Russell Westbrook. And we also going to see whether or
I
not
mean,
Melo can play.
so what would it be? It would be Steven Adams, Paul George, Russ, Melo.
And Roberson.
Oh my god, that boy's so damn trash. Oh my god.
So, I mean, at that
And
point,
Patrick Patterson.
yeah.
I forgot that they had him. And Huestis, however the hell you say his name. He's a power forward. So Russ at the one, Roberson. Realistically, it'd be Paul George, then Carmelo Anthony.
And I guess you
Shit,
could
man, they're
put
gonna get destroyed. I don't know how. I mean, I guess you could put Paul George at the four if it's depending on what the matchup is,
That's
and
an
then
awfully small starting lineup.
they're really tiny. Because once Steven Adams goes to the bench, it's a wrap.
Exactly. How tall is Patterson? Like what? 6'10"?
Yeah, and he's really unathletic, and I believe he's a three-point shooter. He's not like the guy that's getting down in the paint banging. He's a
Yeah,
Yeah,
hold on. Is it that dude from Toronto?
yeah,
yeah, he's a
that's
pick and
exactly what he
popper.
did in
Yeah,
Toronto.
he's a pick and popper. That's what that's what he makes his money doing. So we're
That
gonna
dude
see
used to
what.
make Taj Gibson look like Charles.
Oh my god, man! Oh, Roberson is so trash. Oh, he's terrible.
So I mean,
Terrible.
they have those three guys, and there's only one basketball. It's not like them, those three players. Like once again, they're not. They're all occupying the same space on the court, pretty much. Melo likes to post up, elbow, free throw line extended. Um, Russ likes to post up the same place. PG likes to post up the same place. They all like to dribble around on the perimeter in the same spots on the floor. Pull up jump shots from the same spots on the floor for Melo and Russ. And I want to see how they're going to. Like, we got Billy Donovan has a tough road ahead of him finding an offense that's going to fit all three of those guys at the same time. It's not like Golden State. Like, that fit perfectly because, KD can shoot from half court. Uh, Obviously, Curry can shoot from half court. Uh, Clay Thompson can shoot from half court, and then you have another guy that can hit some threes every now and then. But he's a supreme playmaker. Nobody ever claimed that Melo was a playmaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a shot maker and he's a shot taker, but he's not necessarily a playmaker. And I mean, I guess you could say
That's.
Paul George is a little bit of a
I
playmaker.
mean, let's not
That
fool
might.
ourselves though. I mean, Melo's never been a playmaker, and if people think that, like last season, hearing about his assist numbers and like a bunch of other stats that really don't mean nothing, you're getting 20, at least 20 and 10 or 20 and 5 from Melo every other night. I mean, that's all the Thunder really need, right?
You
I
would hope.
mean, yeah, I would assume so, but at the same time, I don't think. I think Russ has become such a better passer since KD left that
Mm-hmm.
it really might benefit both Melo and PG because they can get open, because they can move around, without the ball. Because Russ is still Russ. He's still going to demand MVP attention that he's worthy of. I, it's almost like if he wants to drive, he could kick it out to Carmelo. He's gonna bang it in. He has one of the best mid-range shots in the history of basketball, and then PG is just really gifted in a lot of facets of his game. It's going to be interesting. Like I think the only thing that I worry about is when they're not on the floor. Like
I think
I
one
feel
of
like
them
they're
will
gonna
always be on the
just
floor.
drive into the ground. Like Billy Donovan might have to drive one of them into the ground because I I mean he got Felton coming off the bench behind him,
True.
and then
Ooh.
like I think they got this kid Dakari coming after Steven Adams. Like now that I think about it and I analyze that roster, I think Houston might be better than them.
I think they're gonna keep one of those guys on the floor at all times. When you got three people like that, one of them can always be on the floor. There's enough,
Mm-hmm.
split in the times, enough split without, one or two of them on the floor, where at least one or two of them will always be on the floor. I don't think we have to worry about that. What really worries me is whether or not we're going to get the Carmelo Anthony that makes quick decisions. Um, he's shooting the ball or passing the ball, shooting the ball or passing the ball, not the
Mm-hmm.
Melo that gets the ball. And the Melo I'm talking about, ISO Jimmy style. Jab step, hold the ball. It needs to be. Well, I have a shot here. I'm going to take this shot. Oh, I don't have a shot here. I'm not taking that shot, and that's just it. I'm passing it.
Yeah.
He has to be quick decision Melo. It can't be the Melo that sat in New York for 8 or however many years he was there.
If it's that mellow, they have no chance of being successful.
Exactly.
No chance at all.
No chance at all. They need him to be. I know it's cliche, but they need him to be Olympic Melo. They need Olympic Melo. They need the guy that just pick and pops. If he has the shot, he takes the shot. If he doesn't have the shot, he doesn't, and he passes it and keeps moving. And if he can do that, for however many games he plays in the season, I think they'll be okay. I mean, obviously, the slogan is they're not going to beat Golden State because they're not, but they might be able to get into the third round of the Western Conference playoffs. Maybe.
You
Never know.
think so?
Yeah, I'm just throwing things
I
out
got
there.
I got this wild theory that LeBron sent all of them sent all of them to the West to tire out the Warriors so he could try to get a final shot at them.
And LeBron needs to worry about getting to the finals with that team that they have. It's a good thing. I'm glad you brought up them damn Cleveland Cavaliers because I really want to talk about them myself. They were
They're
one
pitiful,
of the
man.
worst defensive teams I had seen make the NBA Finals in a very, very long time. Last year they were bad, and then they went and added Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, and Isaiah Thomas to an already pitiful defense. Now, Derrick Rose isn't a defensive stalwart, but he's probably a better defensive player than Kyrie Irving. I don't know if I could say the same thing for Isaiah Thomas based on the fact that he's a midget.
Settle down.
Dwayne Wade isn't a good defensive player anymore either because he's old and he can't stick with anybody. I mean, if you watched any Bulls games last year, he was a pretty bad defensive basketball player, walking up the court because he was tired and any number of things that he was doing that.
And that's why he's glad he's going to Cleveland.
Yeah, so it's like now you're putting have you heard about the starting lineup that they're talking about putting out there where they're starting Kevin Love at center?
Yeah, putting Tristan Thompson on the bench. They should have been there last year, to be honest.
But look, you're playing Kevin Love at your center, Derrick Rose at your 1, and Dwayne Wade at your 2.
That's crazy.
That is
I couldn't
awful.
do that. I couldn't do that at all. I feel like JR started like 60 games for them last year, and he was solid. Like he was good.
Man,
I mean, for the circumstances for the team that he was on.
Once you get Dwayne Wade, all that goes out the window. Dwayne Wade ain't coming off no damn bench. That's one y'all saw the press conference where they were talking to Melo, and the dude was like talking to him about coming off the bench, and Melo was like, "Who?
Yeah, that was
not
funny.
me. Like, I'm not coming up." Like, and that's the same thing that like if somebody asks D Wade about coming off the bench, he's gonna be like, "Who? JR? Yeah, JR coming off the bench. Me, I'm starting." I mean, that's just what I do. I start. The hell are you talking about coming off the bench? So even though
they can try that Kevin Love experiment.
It's gonna
they can try that Kevin Love shit.
It's gonna be hilarious.
They can try it all they want.
I feel like it worked though. I mean, he played center in Minnesota, didn't he?
I don't know what he played.
See, but like that goes back to I think me and Jess talked about this on a podcast we did once where
what up,
like
Jess?
you see somebody like you see a player like that on a bad team and they do really well. Is it because they're really good, or is it just they're standing out on a bad team? You know what I'm saying? Or is it because like I feel like he came to the Cavs. Obviously, he has to, shed some parts of his game off because of the respect for LeBron James because he's LeBron James. It's almost like Chris Bosh did when he went to Miami. Chris Bosh
definitely
was all NBA type player before he went to Miami. But then he had to change. He had to change things about his game. At the same time, though, I don't feel like Kevin really shed some things off his game and became and still had like really good talents a part of his game because he's actually become just a little bit above average for me, just a little bit.
Okay, here's the thing: Kevin Love is nowhere near as good a basketball player as Chris Bosh.
Nowhere. And when he came to Cleveland, I thought he was going to be balling out. Like I have to admit it, but nah, he's not.
Because he's not. He needs to be, integrated. He needs to be a focal point to get, every drop of juice out of his basketball talent. Like you could throw, that Chris Bosh, you could throw him on any team, and that Chris Bosh is going to do what he did. Like he's just a 20-10 guy. Like, and I know Kevin Love was putting up just like historical numbers, but like you said, he was playing on a team full of no talented guys. Like, okay, somebody's going to have to get these points. Somebody's going to have to get these rebounds, and he was the best player on the team. He did it. Now, that's not to say that Kevin Love isn't a really, really good basketball player, because he is. let's just say he's not in the same league as Chris Bosh. And it was crazy that people would even
Mm-hmm.
consider him to be that good because he's not. Chris Bosh was a bona fide monster. He got teams to the playoffs without LeBron James, without Dwayne Wade, and that is
Yep.
something that Kevin Love couldn't do. He couldn't even get to the playoffs himself. So I don't, no, no. Plus, LeBron James is where power forwards go to die. What?
It's true.
Because I don't want to say it's his fault, but once again, LeBron James is good when he's occupying the same place that a power forward would be occupying, which is, I mean, it sucks for them, but it's the truth. And he plays his best basketball when he's at the power forward position. So,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to take him off the floor for Kevin Love. Like,
Speaking
who
of
in their
which,
right mind would do that?
I think David Aldridge did a thing on this once on Twitter. I think it was like not this past year, the year the Cavs won. There was a stretch of games where Kyrie and LeBron were both out with injuries or rest, but it was the same stretch where I think it was like 6 to 8 games. They were on and out, on and off, and he compared it to a stretch where it was like 10 games when LeBron and D Wade were out in Miami. And he compared both Kevin Love and Chris Bosh. If you remember, that was like near the end of the season when they did that with the Heat. Chris Bosh balled the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like he was like the player of the week 2 weeks in a row. Like he was destroying the competition. He had a game winner against Portland.
I remember
Kevin
that.
Love was still in the same boat. Like he was like a role player.
He just went absolutely crazy. There's like 30 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, that's right. Where he hit like four or five threes in a game.
Yeah, he had some games where he was just going nuts out there, but for the most part, yeah, you're right. He was just pedestrian.
I think I only have one Kevin Love highlight in my head, and that's him playing great defense on Steph Curry.
on a very, very hurt Steph Curry.
That's all I got.
Gotta bring that up.
That's all I got. Like other than that, he's like I said, he's just slightly above average.
He'll forever be a Cleveland hero for that moment, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You think they're gonna let that white boy let that down? Hell no.
He ain't gonna never buy a beer up in Cleveland. Ever. But something else happened while we were gone that we didn't get to talk about. You just actually brought it to the forefront of my mind. Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. We have not talked about this. These
niggas some hoes.
Oh my God.
Like I love LeBron. I don't think that goes without being said. Everybody who follows us, they know that. But they are both grown ass men with children.
No, they're not.
Well, excuse me.
LeBron is a man to
biologically.
LeBron. And
they grown
apparently to LeBron, Kyrie is a kid. He called him kid about 1 million times in that press conference.
Yeah, that was crazy. He was a
kid. I'm trying to impart all the wisdom I can on the kid.
I think it was so interesting to watch Kyrie just straight disrespect Max Kellerman on that first take interview. Like he was like, "Oh, you asked a question. Why are you so worried about me?"
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I mean, Kellerman's only doing his job, and Kyrie was being kind of a dick.
Oh, definitely was being a dick. Even Stephen A. said it the day after. He was like, why does he have to act like that? And usually I don't agree with dude. I forgot what his name is. He's the ESPN version of Clay Travis.
Right.
Not Nick Wright.
He's
sometimes
ESPN.
Will Kane?
Will Kane, that's the buddy name.
I can't stand his ass.
I can't stand him either, but he made a great point. He was just like, he said something to the fact of like Stephen A. asked Kyrie a question, and he was like, it's not about me. And then, but like this, right before that, he was like, well, this is about my future. This is about my decision. And like the dude, Will, was like, well, Kyrie, the follow-up question to that question is related to what you just said. This is about you. You're talking about yourself in this situation. And it was just like Kyrie was trying so hard to be philosophical,
Yeah, it's the
and you
faux
know,
philosophical Kyrie that I find both hilarious and stupid. Like
it's yeah,
he
that's
cut
the
the
flat Earth
beard
shit.
off. You know, no black man should be without a beard or a mustache. It's like
Yeah, this looks weird, man.
it looks really, really weird when black men don't have mustaches and beards. So he cut that off, and he
A
just looks,
rapist.
yeah, he looks like a pedophile or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, he on the
black men
sexual registry.
should not be without a mustache. So he cut that off, and then now he's wearing a suit, and it's all like all these monotone Kobe Bryant responses. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's trying
dude,
too hard.
you like, come on, it's cool. We understand. Like, I think LeBron off the court is an awesome, awesome person, right? I think he's great. Like, I don't even like LeBron, but the off court stuff that he does, like, he's probably the greatest basketball player at any of that stuff. Maybe Kareem. I'll give you Kareem. Other than that, it hasn't been many people better than him. At, speaking his mind, all of that. But on the court and on the team, I could see him probably being a bit of an asshole.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
And what
yeah.
really did it for me was that kid thing. Him calling him kid about a million times. Like, that is a grown ass man. He was a grown ass man
You got
when
love for the kid.
you got to Cleveland. So you calling him kid a million times while he's referencing you as a grown man is complete and utter disrespect. So I can understand, like when LeBron got there, Kyrie was fielding questions about LeBron being a father figure to him when he has a fucking father. So I can
Yeah.
only imagine what was going on in his head during the 3 years they were together when LeBron is probably trying to treat him like he's Mario Chalmers. It's like, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. You know what? I'm sick of you.
I think
I don't want to be
I
here
think
anymore.
LeBron I think LeBron got a lot of that mean girl shit too. Like he'll gather up everybody, and if all those guys are followers, Iman, Jr.,
Yeah.
uh, Tristan, he basically I think he's taken Tristan nuts. I don't think he's a man anymore, and gave him to Chloe. Um, I forgot who else. Um, it doesn't matter, but he's just he gathers everybody up, mean girl style, and be like, "Hey, nigga, you the odd one out. Well, we at your fucking neck. You got the bounce." And like even Richard Jefferson, like he couldn't even answer that shit and be neutral about it in a
Yeah,
sense of like why Kyrie left, or does LeBron have a point? Because I feel like Rich really wanted to be on the side of Kyrie, and it'd be like, no, he had a right to leave. It's his decision.
I mean, in all honesty, it is. It's like I think people are like, man, you're going to the finals every year and you're playing with LeBron. It's like, yeah, I mean, all of that sounds good to the people that aren't in it. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like
Yeah,
it always sounds good, but once you win a championship, especially at his age, it's like you're not searching for that anymore. Like, okay, I have my ring. I want to try a different challenge, and the challenge that I'm trying now is something that people, and I'm not a Kyrie fan, but one thing I will say, I don't like when people bring up the fact that Cleveland wasn't good in his first few years before LeBron got there. I don't like that because he was 19 years old and that team was trash. There is a reason why they got the number one pick in the draft
well,
because they
wait, what do you
weren't
mean?
a good team. Because you can't bring up the 19-year-old playing on a bad team and try to compare it to the 25 or 26-year-old that is no longer the same 19-year-old basketball player. That's garbage. They were the number one pick in the draft. They got the number one pick in the draft for like 3 straight years. That team wasn't good. Wasn't good
Oh,
at
those picks
all.
are trash.
And they drafted
They
Anthony Bennett's trash ass. Come
and
on
then
now.
they drafted it, and they was making bad moves with the draft, and Deion Waiters wasn't a good fit for him to be on a team with him. It was all kinds of things that were going wrong with the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. So when people be like, "Well, I don't know if he could do this, and I don't know why he wants to be the man," we've seen him as the man. Actually, you really haven't. You saw a 19-year-old dude playing on bad teams. That's what you saw.
You saw
And we
and
also
one.
saw a 25-year-old guy hit a game-winning three in a championship game against the best team that ever played basketball in the regular season and a back-to-back MVP winner. So it's like you can't take one thing without taking the other, right? And it feels like a lot of people, when it comes to Kyrie, are just taking the one thing. It's like, well, he played on bad Cleveland teams and he didn't make them better. So it's this one thing. No, that's what we're going to bring up. And I don't think that's fair. I think it would be fair if we take the totality of his career and use that and to see where he's going. So I can understand where he's coming from as a basketball player. There was something I did earlier in my career that I kind of failed at, and I want to see if I'm better at it now. And it doesn't matter
Mhm.
if I'm winning championships with LeBron James. That doesn't factor into this decision, and I don't think anybody should look down on him because he decided to do something else, for
You
his
know what
career.
it you know what it is that I guess that people don't understand is like you said earlier, like, on the outside. I mean, wow, you get to play with one of the greatest to ever play basketball. Wow, the Chiefs really just cost themselves the game. Oh, never mind. Paul's
God
dead.
damn it.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm watching the game, and but yeah. On the outside looking, it looks great. I mean, you playing with one of the greatest. I mean, we can say that for sure. You're one of the greatest, but we don't know what it's like working with the man every day, every single day for 3 years. I get tired of nigga too because LeBron is a diva.
And it's like everybody is like, well, he just couldn't handle the pressure and all this other shit. You don't know any of that. This is like all these disparaging remarks about Kyrie Irving, and it's like we're just supposed to take it because he's playing with LeBron that he's the bad guy, but we don't know. We don't know, and I have a feeling that when somebody is calling you a kid for 30 for 3 years straight, that would be a problem for me if I'm
And
25
that's just
years
the
old.
outside.
And
That's
Yeah.
he's
that's just
calling
the
him
thing
that
when
on the
you do
outside. You can
yeah
only
on
imagine
TV.
what it's like on the inside.
And
You
that's why
know,
look, I think in one of those interviews he was like, LeBron what happened between me and LeBron. LeBron knows what it was. Which I mean, we all know that something happened between them two. It was something.
yeah.
We'll probably find out about it years and years later, but we know that there was something that happened. So
I
you
just
know,
don't want
I
to hear the whole he's because I'm I'm not on either person's side in this, like whether Kyrie or LeBron. I just think that team became extremely dysfunctional,
yeah,
which
ran
it
the
shouldn't
course.
have. It became extremely dysfunctional after they won a championship. I think them winning was the worst thing that could have happened to them
Yeah, because they said he
because
wanted to leave after they won the
after the
championship.
championship,
Like I know you guys aren't exactly the biggest fans of Ryan Russillo, but he made a really good point when all this Kyrie stuff was going on. Kyrie plays point guard. Kyrie has never been a true point guard playing in Cleveland because LeBron is the point guard. LeBron runs the offense. Kyrie's never really run the offense. Kyrie can't really be a true point guard, which is why probably one of the reasons why he wanted to leave. He wants his own shit. What's wrong with that?
I don't know what that. It's like okay, we got mad at Kevin Durant for going and teaming up and playing with other superstars.
yeah, you fucking right.
And then you get mad at a guy who decides he doesn't want to play with a superstar and he wants his own thing. Like, how can you have it both ways? You can't be upset at the guy for going and winning championships.
No.
And
Gordon
it's
Hayward. Gordon
impossible.
Hayward ain't no
But
motherfucking Steph Curry. Okay.
now no, but what I'm saying is he left LeBron James. Gordon Hayward ain't no damn LeBron James. Like, and I like Gordon Hayward, but he
He's a
ain't
nice
LeBron
guy.
James. Yeah, he's not LeBron James. So like it's clearly a step down. He's not playing with the best basketball player in basketball anymore. He decided he wanted to do something different, and people are just like, well, shitting all
That
over him.
and that and to me the difference is that their relationship was so strained. I don't think that Russ and Kevin's relationship was strained. I think Kevin told the truth on what the real problem was, even though I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
team
Billy
wasn't
Donovan
good
is a bad
enough.
coach.
Look, I've been saying this for a while. That team was not good enough because they never went out and got that team any shooting. And the only
True.
shooting on that team was Kevin Durant. And that is not going to be good enough. It was never going to be good enough. You need more shooting than just the superstar player. The superstar player needs to have an easier way of scoring baskets, and he never ever had that. That's why when he went to OKC, it was like a breath of fresh air. You could see it in his face, like, oh my God, like I've never had space like this before. These guys actually pass the ball. These guys actually move without the ball. Like this is amazing. I love this. Like it's different. Like you said, I don't think it was some strained relationship with with Russ, and by all accounts, Russ and KD are actually okay now, which I don't know why they wouldn't be. It's kind of stupid for them to be upset at for one of them to be upset at the other for going and doing something that he wanted to do. The same thing with Kyrie, him deciding he wanted to do something different. He wanted to go out on his own and further his career. I don't think either one of them should be upset at the other. But I think, like we've said before, it's easy for us to look at the outside of these situations and cast disparaging remarks about guys because of what they decide they want to do. I just think it's funny, like I said, that a guy like two completely separate situations, I mean, they're literally on the opposite ends of the spectrum, have fans mad at both of them. It's
Yeah.
weird
See,
because you
I
cannot
see,
win with
but
fans.
this is I was watching this. I've been like, in case all of our followers know, I've been off social media for a while now. I just been really vibing and just being to myself, trying to put a huge investment into self-care. And a part of that, I've been watching a lot of these like videos that dig deep down into who you are as a person and try to, you know, I guess revitalize whatever your main strengths are. And I watched this Kobe video, and it wasn't so much Kobe talking. It was guys that they win. Oh, yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
they got
Sorry.
it.
And it was all these interviews with guys who played with Kobe, and this shit goes back to like Nick Van Exel days. I gotta send you guys this link. And these guys were talking about like how Kobe was psychotic from the first day he walked into the Lakers organization, and then they go all the way up to like Pau Gasol and Sasa Vujacic. They were telling these stories about like he demanded so much of other people to where when you would watch him practice by himself, you say like, "Oh, he must be insane because if he demands that much from us, I can only imagine what he's telling himself in his head." Transition to nowadays, could you imagine if the relationship was like that with Kyrie and LeBron? I could only imagine what it would have been like. Do you think Kyrie would have taken a Kobe mentality, a teammate like Kobe? Do you think he would have been sensitive to him, or do you think he would have thrived off of him?
It's weird because people, they benefit from completely different things, right? It
Mm.
it, it seems to me like he would have probably liked to play with a mindset like Kobe.
I feel like he kind of is Kobe in a
Yeah,
way.
like I think he really idolizes what Kobe does and how he goes about playing the game and his day to day routine and the expectations he has of himself and all of that. I think he likes that, and I think he likes the straightforwardness that comes with a guy that plays the game like that. I think there's a lot of mind games when you're playing with LeBron James, or at least it seems like it was in that locker room because something set him off.
Something set him off, and I really think it was like that bullying mentality. Like, oh no, you gonna do what I say because I'm
I'm
LeBron
LeBron
James,
James. Yeah, I'm LeBron.
and this is Cleveland. This is my shit. This is my city. Like you might have been
I think you might be right.
I can see that.
You might be
like
right with that.
I really do think it was like that where like LeBron came back home. He was so driven off of, just being, you know, I have to win it for Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. To where, and I think especially when Kyrie hit that shot, because Kyrie, as much as I love LeBron, y'all know this, Kyrie and LeBron could have easily won co-MVP for the finals.
I thought they should have, but
Because
that's just
they
me.
both, and especially in the last 3 games, their stats were insane. And I feel like a lot because it was LeBron and it was LeBron coming back to
And it was
Cleveland,
Cleveland.
it
Yeah,
totally overshadowed how great Kyrie was and how great he was in that final game. Like for people to say, "Oh, he's just a kid. He's making a kid decision, an immature decision to leave the Boston." He wasn't a kid
in
when
the
he hit
finals.
a championship clinching shot in the game 7. Like, you can't pick and
Exactly.
choose when he's immature because it doesn't work like this. So even after he won, something must have ticked him off, and I believe it was just the power trip going to LeBron's head.
I agree. I'm there with you. I'm not. I mean, and I'm glad it came from you and not from me. Because if I say it, I'm just a hater and I just don't like LeBron. Which I don't.
Yeah, you
I don't.
fucking right.
I don't think that's the case. It's not that I dislike LeBron. It's just like he's not my favorite player. I can accept his greatness and also see flaws in what he does. And I think
That motherfucker's
there
so
had to
good.
have been something that went on between them two that set that guy off. And I think, like we've said in the midst of this conversation, that interview with him calling him a kid a million times is a perfect example that can
That shit
show
wasn't cool.
that it was something like some huge issue between them two that led to that exact moment right there. Because he said, I mean, if you go back there and look at that, man, it was a lot of kid this and kid that, and every time you saw Kyrie, he was referencing LeBron as a man. It was every single time, and
Yeah.
that would eat at me.
Respectful too.
Yeah, it was a respectful way of speaking about him. And I don't know how respectful he was when they were in the locker room, but it was always respectful when he was in the media. So yeah,
So, how do you think LeBron's going to be with the Ball family when he goes to LA?
oh my god, I don't know. Considering Levar had a lot to say about his kids and shit, so I don't know. I have no clue. But it's a good thing that you brought up the Ball family. It's a good segue, Devin.
See how I did that?
We like the segues around here. LaMelo is leaving Chino Hills. LeVar is going to homeschool him and train him. Have you ever seen a high prospect NCAA player that was homeschooled and did not play basketball for 2 years in high school?
Maybe some European people, but I don't know. I don't follow them.
They were playing basketball somewhere. I mean, is all he gonna be doing is AAU?
Which I'm not a big fan of.
I mean, does he really need any more exposure from high school basketball?
I
Does
think
he
he needs
need
to
any
learn
more
how to play
exposure? Period.
basketball. I think he needs to learn how to play basketball. Like I think that's what he needs. And like I was reading about this whole thing about LeVar taking him out of Chino Hills, and it seems like it came on the heels of the coach telling him these games where Melo taking 50 shots, that shit's gonna stop. And he seems to have had a problem with that. And I don't know why you would have a problem with the coach telling you your son cannot shoot 50 times a game. Like he cannot do that. We have other people on this team. Why is that a problem? And I generally like LeVar. I generally like him. I'm going to reserve judgment on this move because I don't want to just be like, man, this is stupid. I don't know his full plan. I'm going to reserve judgment on it, but I don't know. Not a fan of it. Not a fan of this one.
Mm,
I think he
this
should keep
this
that boy at school, man.
yeah, man. Especially with, I really want to know what the relationship is, like the three-way relationship, giggity, with LeVar, the Chino Hills coach, and Steve Alford.
Bro, isn't this
Because
like the third Chino Hills coach since
I
those
think
guys?
so. Because I don't think, I want to say that, I could be wrong, I have to Google it, but I want to say that LeVar didn't have the greatest relationship with Steve Alford either. I mean,
Still offered.
I think Steve Alford is the coach of UCLA.
UCLA.
I'm about to say that name sounds familiar.
And this isn't, to me, it isn't smart, man. I totally get, the sense of like LeVar wanted to protect his son, but now it's starting to seem like LeVar is more focused on protecting his brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the Ball enterprise. You already have one son that is he's made it. Not yet, like in a sense of like, oh, this kid he's an NBA player. He's made it. He's in the league.
He's a second pick in the draft,
Second pick in
third
the
pick,
draft
whatever.
is cool, man. The rest of what the other boys doing, that should be on cruise control right now. Everything is set. Let him go to the school. He needs to learn that. No, motherfucker, you can't chuck up 60 shots a game. That's not gonna work. That is not how this works. I don't give a shit who your dad is. And LeVar can go to any other school. I don't know how much plug he has over there in SoCal, but I doubt that any other coach is gonna be like, oh yeah, we could take some L's just because
You want to get your son
LaMelo wants to throw up some
half
100-point
court
games.
He wants to shoot a half court shot like 5 times a game and point at it and all this other garbage that he wants to do. Like you did that, you got it. How about we try something else now? Why don't we move forward to getting him an actual like skill set besides just shooting, running off of screens and not and playing defense and all of the things that will make him a better basketball player. How about we do that? But he doesn't, like you
And
said,
it's,
he doesn't seem interested in all of that.
and it's not even like he's taking him out for 1 year. The kid is going to his junior year in high school. Like 2 whole years without organized high school competitive basketball. Like, that's not smart, man, at all.
I don't know. I want them to succeed, to be honest with you, because like, do you watch the TV show or the
Yeah, on
No, I have
YouTube.
yet to see it.
It's
I
pretty
I
funny.
enjoy
just
it,
recently heard about it.
and the stuff that he does like for his wife is just absolutely incredible. And I want to see them succeed. It's a black owned business, and I'm a black man. I like seeing black people do really really well. So I want to see them succeed. This is one of those moves where I'm just like, "Ugh, I don't know, but we'll
At
see
this
what happens.
point, at this point, I mean, I know it's indirectly, but he's kind of giving these the haters and the pundits gasoline.
Yeah, with every move that he makes like this, especially if it's about, you know, you don't want your you have a problem with the coach telling you how he's going to coach the team, and he's had issues with every coach. So at some point, the common denominator just becomes LeVar.
Yeah,
Like it's been different people with different personalities, and you've had a problem with all of them, probably because they just don't want you to try to take over their team. Like, and they shouldn't. They should. You can't clip the coach's balls, which is what he seems to do everywhere he goes. It seems like he's
Yeah.
clipping the coach's balls, and this
Yeah, and
coach
it's
is
a
just
new
like,
coach at the school, too.
yeah, he's like, I'm not about to let you do that to me like you did it with these other guys. So no, no, thank you, no, thank you. We're
He
not gonna
said,
have that.
and this is quote for quote what LeVar said, that coach has his own mind, has his own frame of mind on how he wants to play and who he picks in the team. Okay, y'all got that going on. Let's see how you do without my tutelage. Without me training those kids at my house. It seems like anybody who's training over here, that coach don't want him in the team. And essentially what he said, who's ever training at his house, number one, a la LaMelo, he doesn't want them playing. Well, I guess.
You gotta chill.
he's got
He
to.
has to chill.
He's gotta chill, man. Like it's not that serious, bro. It's really not. That coach is like you said. Hey, like the first line in that sentence itself is ridiculous. He's got his own mindset. Well, yeah, he's the coach of the team.
He's the
Like
fucking coach.
he should have his own mindset. His mindset shouldn't be to, like how am I going to appease LeVar Ball and LaMelo Ball? Like he has 11 other young men on that team, and they all need to be taught. So you should be able to understand that, but I guess he can't. So he's gonna take his ball literally and go home.
Literally.
Oh, man.
Hey man,
On the
So
show
that
notes,
shit
on the
wrote
show
itself,
notes, you
bro.
make sure you put
it
that.
really did, though.
On the show notes, you make sure you put that. Like, why LeVar wants to take his ball and go home. You make sure you put that.
Goddamn LeVar Ball, man. He makes it so difficult to like him sometimes. I swear he does. From some of the weirdo comments that he makes about like, any and everything, and then moves like this, and then you watch the TV show, and he's just like being just really awesome with Tina.
Who was that, Drake? Was that you that said that? When I was like, is is LeVar a misogynist? And was it you? You were like, well, he's not a misogynist.
You damn sure you're a feminist.
That's definitely me. That's one of my things. I don't want to call you it, but I'm not gonna say you're not. I mean, he may not be a misogynist, but he's wearing a misogynist uniform very, very well.
Hey, Dre, you know what we should do, bro? We should get some T-shirts like that says like "Feminism is cancer" and sell them through the website, man. That'd be cool.
I do not think that's going to go over very well, but
we might get some hits.
We'll get some hits, all right.
Yeah, not positive. Not positive,
and they're going to be physical.
But no.
Feminism is cancer. Make sure you send your hate mail to, what is your email address, Chris?
Christian.so16@gmail.com. Send it all my way, man.
Send all their hate mail directly to him. I have nothing to do with it, ladies. I like you.
I love them too, man.
You just don't want them to have the same amount of pay as you. It's all good. I understand.
And they got enough rights.
God damn. All right. Now that we're talking about rights,
bleep that shit out.
Yeah, you gotta get it.
Nah, that's standing there, buddy. You forget about that. Let's talk about the right to protest. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Okay. It seems like there's a musical chairs of protesters going on right now. Are you locking arms? Are you kneeling? Are you kneeling with a hand over the heart? Are you kneeling and locking arms? Like, are you Ray Lewising? And that means Conan. I don't know what's going on.
It's like Street Fighter combos.
Like what? Yeah, it's like it's like an ultra combo of protest going on in the NFL right now. And it is completely taken away from what Colin Kaepernick initially started this protest for in the first place. Like, if you ask somebody what Colin Kaepernick was protesting for, like, nigga, I don't know. He was protesting the flag, right? Like, that's what you're going to get because nobody knows what is going on anymore. And it hurts the whole movement that you have guys like Ray Lewis on television spouting off complete and utter nonsense every day. Nothing that dude says ever makes sense. We just need more prayer. What the fuck are you talking about? None of that had anything to do with things. Did you see this? Did you see him?
Yeah, I did. I was like,
getting down on both of his. I didn't get down on one knee.
I got down on both knees.
On both knees. I got down on both knees because we need more prayer. Like everything he says is so like he's always saying everything is like this dire straits in his voice, but then he's literally not saying anything that means anything. He's like, I didn't protest with them because I do too much with the military and the police. I can't do it. Shut the fuck up, Ray Lewis. Like I wish that Shannon could actually say that on television because I know.
Hey man, Shannon said some shit like I heard somebody told me today at work that he said something about he was on the Henny and he was smoking Black and Mild.
Yeah, Black and Mild.
Like he's not okay. Everything. I mean, I don't really agree with many people about anything. I try my best not to, but I have not disagreed with one thing that Shannon Sharp has had to say about this entire situation yet. Everything he said has been on point. Everything Ray Lewis has said has been wrong. It's been counterproductive. It's been stupid. It's been nonsensical.
Very coonish.
It's been coonish, and they keep putting his black ass on television to talk that bullshit about needing more prayer. And I mean, cool, pray. Prayer is great. I think prayer works for the people who believe in it. But I don't think praying alone is going to fix anything. So just saying that we just need more prayers is like, okay, it's like saying we need more air. You don't think? Yeah, okay. Wow. Thank you for telling me something that I already know. Now, what are we going to do to fix these problems? And he never has anything that's beneficial to fixing the problem. It's always just Ray Lewis just talking. Just a bunch of goddamn talking, a bunch of talking about nothing, just going in circles. If y'all could have seen the look on Chris Carter's face today.
Oh my god, man! Chris Carter is so fucking funny, dog.
Nah, you know who's funny with the faces, man? Randy Moss, man.
They be looking at.
That's another one.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Randy Moss, he borderline. He. I feel like he got about one more season. He gonna start Conan too, but I'm gonna give him some time.
You think so from Randy?
Yeah, because when what's Buddy's name? What's Buddy Ryan's son? Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan talking about Trump. Man, they cut to Randy Moss's face.
Look on Randy Moss's face, man. Like, he looked like you. What the fuck? Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Rex Ryan. I'm so sorry. This is what pisses me off about the NFL. This is what really, like, I hate this shit. When Donald Trump was telling people that Mexicans are racist, when he was blocking all of these goddamn countries that refugees would come in because they were Muslim, when he was telling black people that they were living in hell, the NFL didn't have anything to say about that. You didn't see Rex Ryan on television talking about how pissed off he was about that man disparaging whole races of people. But the second he says something about the NFL, calls an NFL player a son of a bitch, which I am sure Rex Ryan has called his players sons of bitches before. But now that it's Donald Trump, now all of a sudden, there's this huge goddamn problem. Fuck Rex Ryan. Fuck the NFL. They don't give a shit about anything. The only thing they care about is whether or not something is going to stop them from making money. Rex Ryan, your ass don't even work for the NFL anymore. You get your ass up out of here, boy. Talking about some, I'm just so hurt that he say this about these 60 guys in the locker room. Fuck them 60 guys in the locker room. They're not standing up for equality. Fuck them. And fuck you too, because you're not standing up for equality. They don't stand up for anything. They get paid to play the goddamn national anthem. They don't give all of the breast cancer awareness money to breast cancer fucking research. I don't give a shit about nothing these dudes are talking about. That's why I don't watch that shit anymore. And in October they start breast cancer and salute to service. And salute to service is a bunch of bullshit because, I mean, like, it's probably in the single digits how much of that money goes to anything that's related to like veterans, you know, active duty military, or, you know, families that are affected by, you know, like wounded warriors and things like that. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's all bullshit because I've been having this argument with people nonstop since like all of this has been happening. The flag does not represent military. It has never represented the military. It will never represent the military.
It's a piece of fucking crap.
It is, but it's the opposite of what people think. The military represents the flag. The military goes over and waves the flag. The flag does not go and fucking wave the military. Our armed forces are a representation of that flag. It's not the other way around. So that flag, they're not disrespecting the military when they don't stand for the flag. And it's been misconstrued. The whole thing about police, like they don't want to support the troops, even when Colin Kaepernick, you know, at first Colin was sitting down for the national anthem. You remember that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, a vet spoke with Colin and talked to him about it and asked him if he could start kneeling during it. An actual vet asked him to do this. So while all you people are telling us that he's disrespecting veterans, he's literally doing something that a veteran asked him to do. Everybody.
But you know what's crazy about?
Go ahead.
You know what's even crazy about that? He's kneeling during the flag, disrespectful to our veterans. He's disrespecting everything they stand for. He's literally using the rights that soldiers and other people in the armed forces have died for to make a statement. That's what he's doing, right? He's using his rights that they gave their lives for, which is what he's supposed to be doing. How do people not see that? And the whole thing with this protest, all these other people kneeling, nobody was doing anything before Trump said something.
Nope.
Once Trump insulted the cash crop, then the NFL cares. And then Goodell comes out with that shitty ass statement. And then Stephen Ross, whatever his name is, the owner for the Dolphins, when he came out and said what he said about the anthem, about Colin Kaepernick, and then signing color over Kaepernick, at that point, I was done. This is what happens, Dre, when you beg white people to care about your cause. This is what happens when you beg white people to care about what's happening to us in these streets. They gentrify it.
My word for it has been co-op, but we can say gentrify. We can say gentrified. That works as well because now the face of the protest is Jerry Jones with a big stupid fucking grin on a shit-eating grin.
It's
on
all
his
these idiots
locking arms with these.
Even
players.
the dude from Jacksonville, he was one of the largest donors to Trump's campaign. What is my man's name?
Shad Khan.
Fuck. Let me slow down. a Muslim. I almost came out my body real quick. Y'all know I've been trying to dig deep to find out who I am. So let me rephrase that.
I think you were about to find out.
A Muslim man who clearly shows everybody that Trump don't really hate all Muslims as long as they come correct with that cash.
Of course.
So he even was a prime supporter of Trump, but you up here locking arms with your players because he disrespected your brand. If you don't get the entire fuck out of here with that bullshit.
You know what else pisses me off about this entire scenario, man? I keep hearing these words, solidarity and unity. Okay, that's great, but my people are still getting killed every day.
I say this is what he's fighting for.
That's
he's
exactly
fighting
what
for
he's kneeling
solidarity and unity for everyone, not just the few. He wants it for the all.
Exactly.
And that's what he's fighting for. That's what the whole protest was about. And until people understand that, it's never going to change. Nothing's going to change. There's going to be people that are going to call him a nigger because he doesn't stand for the flag. They're going to be happy that he doesn't have a job. They're going to burn jerseys. Like it was people burning Terrell Suggs' jersey and burning
season tickets
and all of this other shit.
You already paid for it.
You had
even those racist fucks in Boston and Massachusetts. They were burning Patriots jerseys.
You had a fire chief calling Mike Tomlin a no good nigger. All of this other shit.
Man, it's crazy.
And, like all of this stuff goes on as disparaging remarks about black people, and then y'all wonder why somebody wouldn't want to stand for a flag where it's supposed to be equality for all, but
it doesn't even represent us.
Country, it does not. They feel like it does not represent them. And if you can't understand that, that's your problem. It doesn't mean anybody else has to stop.
And at that point, I say this to all of my black people. Like, stop telling them why Kaepernick is kneeling. Stop telling them why he's protesting, why he started what he started. They know why.
They know why.
They know why. They know exactly why.
They choose not to know why. They're ignoring the reason why, because the reason why is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable thing, and that's good. I don't think people realize that. The people that are uncomfortable, they don't realize that's a good thing, because now you're understanding. But they want to block out that feeling of being uncomfortable. They want to keep things the way that it is because the way that it is feels good. Being uncomfortable doesn't feel good. But fuck that.
If I can get back to Jerry Jones real quick, what he did, he kind of undermined. He was one of the first ones to undermine the entire protest movement. And that entire team kneeled before the anthem. And then linked arms during the anthem. Okay, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
It was Nate Boyer.
Nate Boyer called that shit a cop-out.
It was.
It is.
So Nate Boyer is the veteran who Dre was referencing earlier. And people love to try to pull out that you're disrespecting our military. And Nate Boyer be come out and he'll be like, well, I'm not disrespected. I served my country and put my life on the line so Marshawn could sit or kneel, so Colin can sit or kneel. People are going to be mad, and that's okay. And those same people that'll be like, you're disrespecting our military, they'll be quick to be like, well, he doesn't speak for all military. Really? Because he is a highly decorated war veteran who just happened to play play football in the NFL as just some shit to get by, and he happened to be good at it. And like, come on, man, that don't make sense. And he even went so far as calling out Drew Brees. Drew Brees don't want to have that conversation though. Just like you said, Chris, like you don't have to explain shit to them because they don't want it. They don't want to have a conversation about it. They want to be on the fence. They want to be divisive. They want to, have their own mindset of thinking about it. Just like Drew Brees, he's like, we as a Saints team will do it before the anthem, but we will not. Like, I couldn't be. If I'm Adrian Peterson, I'm not getting no tick. I'm not getting the ball. Hey, I'm kneeling on this, Jank. Can y'all trade me? I know y'all don't want me here in the first place. So go ahead. I'm kneeling for this bitch player. So let's get this popping.
Devin. I put up a post on Facebook. It was on my personal page. I'm not gonna say what the post is because it might be offensive for some people. I don't want anybody to think I'm an asshole. But a couple veterans came on the post because a young lady was saying how offensive it was to not stand for the flag and all this other shit. So one of the guys tells her, he's like, it's not offensive to me. I'm a 10-year vet. You know what this chick says to him? She told him, thanks for your service, but you can go to another country.
Wow.
These are the people that are telling you to stand for the flag. Thank you for your service. Go to another country.
Was he black?
Yeah, he was black. Of course
he was black. I didn't even have to ask that.
The thing is, she was half black and half white.
But I keep telling you about these mulattoes, man.
God damn. You gonna take that, Devin?
God damn it, Chris.
Well,
God damn, nigga, you ain't light skinned just because you light skinned. Somewhere in there, somebody's black.
I think this.
I'm really trying, man. I'm really trying.
A very, very productive conversation. I don't know if everyone is going to, enjoy it, but I hope, people that are, who got through it. I hope, you got a little bit of our perspective about it, how we feel about this. One of the things I said to, the young lady, she's younger than me. We were holding the conversation, and one of the things that I said to her because she said there are, bigger things going on in the world. And I told her,
right? I told her, like unarmed black men being shot in the street.
Exactly. I told her, some people, there is no bigger battle. There's nothing bigger than this. There will never be anything bigger than this. And the fact that you say that there's bigger things going on in the world, that is the prime indicator that you have no idea of what it is to be like this, to live like that, to live in fear as a black person in America. Like, you have no idea what it is. And that's why people could be like, yeah, just stand for the flag. But when you honestly don't believe that what that flag is supposed to represents it for you, it's hard to stand up for it. I'm not even going to lie. I have not stood up for the national anthem in 4 years.
Nigga,
I don't plan on standing up for it. I mean, this wasn't a Colin Kaepernick thing that did this for me. This was something I decided for myself years ago. And I don't plan on standing for it anytime soon.
I had a moment with my godmom. She had went to go register me for school in 8th grade. We were living in a beach town in Florida, so like this part of the town that we lived in was more liberal than the other part, the more inland part of Florida. I'm gonna let it remain nameless so I don't hurt any of the people down there. Because some of them actually do follow us. And she was registering me for school, and I was probably there on their first day, so I didn't have to go to school that day. And we were in the middle, the whole paperwork and shit, and this is around the time when they actually did the Pledge of Allegiance. So they came on the loudspeaker, everybody please, stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Teachers, it's a few like administrative people in the office. They all stand up, face the flag, put their hand over their chest. My God, I'm used to doing it out of routine. Like I don't know what the fucking symbolism in that shit is. I don't know. And I stand up and put my hand over my heart, look at the flag, and I look over to my godmom, and she just all she did was stand up, sat down halfway through the joint. And I asked her, like, we were driving back home later that day, I was like, yo, Maria, how come you didn't stand up and put your hand over your heart and you like sat down halfway through? And boy, that is when I learned about the Star Spangled Banner and standing up to do the Pledge of Allegiance. It's bullshit. The entire thing is bullshit. And I'm going to end by saying there's one of my buddies, two of my good friends who are combat veterans. One is in Iraq right now, and the other one is about to go back to Afghanistan. We all took a poll in the group chat, and we were like, you in the NFL, you kneeling for the national anthem? And we all agreed that we would. And all of us served our country. All of us fought for our country. And almost everybody in this group is some type of different ethnicity. It's a lot of people who are speaking for veterans and speaking for active duty military who haven't served. They haven't even thought about serving. They're too scared to even walk into a recruiter's office. It's a bunch of bullshit. I will kneel and chew bubblegum while I do it if I was a player in the NFL. That's all I got to say about that. I wouldn't be ignorant and start stretching like LaShawn McCoy, who's a hypocrite. But
oh man, don't get me started on. Don't get me. I'm so glad you brought this up at the end of the podcast, not the middle of it. Seriously, because I had another 20 minutes on about that. Ooh,
that motherfucker is
I'm trying to be a better Christian, man. Trying to be a better Christian.
That's good. That's good. I'm a heathen. I'm not trying to be, but I will say, I'm glad you're trying to be better, Devin. Thanks for that story. This has been the According to Sources podcast. You guys know where to find us. It's A2 Sources on Twitter. It's According to Sources at gmail.com. According to Sources where Sean Covington is just writing a crap ton of stuff.
Yeah, seriously.
Like all the time. And it's not just like wrestling stuff. It's basketball, football, baseball, hockey. He's just writing.
Ain't nothing but propaganda.
You're probably right. But he's doing a lot of it. It is a lot of propaganda. So, go check out.
I got something coming. I got something coming. Give me. At the end of this week, I have something. I was gonna keep it under the wraps, but I got something coming.
Okay, by all means, put it up. But that's where according to sources.com is the website. We're part of a podcast and network, the ETMF Podcast Network, where we'd all been through a little bit of a down, a bit of a drought during, for the podcast, but we're starting to pick it back up. So go to the podcast and network and check out some of the podcasts. There's always something on there for people to peruse, find something that you like, music, video games, movies, sports, pop culture. There's always something for anybody to get a look at and find something that they're interested in. So, Devin, Chris, I'm Dre. This has been the According to Sources podcast, and we are out.
Ray Lewis is Jason Whitlock's husband.
Jason Whitlock, you suck.